Did you know that 90% of the world's millionaires invest in real estate? Well, I'm Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and I'm here to help you if you want to go for your piece of that pie. Hey guys, it's Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and today we have Miss Jennifer Falloon. Did I say your name right?
Yes, that's perfect. Yes.
Awesome. And she's going to be talking to us and sharing with us about self-directed IRAs and some of the, the benefits and some of the awesome things about them. Disclaimer, not a lawyer, not an accountant, not someone that is giving you advice in those capacities. So make sure you have that and you know that before we keep going. But just this is information and education, and we're putting it out there for everyone to be able to have a piece of that. So I learned a little bit about the self-directed world of the retirement accounts probably around a year ago. And it's really neat because yes, you're saving for your retirement, but with the self-directed ones, you get to decide what goes in the basket that makes them up. So really neat. So Jennifer is actually in San Antonio. But I met her on a Florida page in Facebook. So it's kind of funny. But Texas is huge. I'm here in Texas. She's here in Texas. So we have that Texas bond going. She's been in the business, did you say 15 years?
Since 2012.
Okay. Oh, is that 18? Wow, almost 19. That's awesome.
2000. Really? Is it 2012?
Oh, no, my math is wrong.
8 years. I was like, oh my gosh, time flies. 8 years. I was like, am I that old?
Oh, my math is so bad. I'm so embarrassed. I hope they edit that out. Wow. How do you recover from that? All right.
It's okay. Just go.
You don't recover from it.
It's okay.
So, but you've been at it for a sizable amount of time. And things change year to year, but the basic idea doesn't change. She also is involved in real estate. And she's involved in, let's see, it was 95 million worth of assets across the nation, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a ton. And that's, syndication, partnerships, JVs, you name it. She has some level of experience with it. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say and to share all of that with you. So if you want to...
So I come with a little bit of credibility. I am the sales manager for taxfreefuture.com, which is a self-directed IRA company. So I do this almost on a daily basis where I'm constantly educating people on why self-directed and how does that work? What does it look like? I do events around the nation for doctors' offices, dentists, chiropractors, and just teaching them. Because the beautiful thing about self-directed, it allows busy professionals to own real estate without being landlords. A lot of these busy professionals, they don't have time. They can't manage. They don't want to, they can't be in a title office, a couple times a year. So somebody else gets to do that for them and they reap the benefits. So what I love about, I love everything about it myself. The caveat to being self-directed is it's really not for everybody. This is truly a wealth building vehicle. And you can ask people, if they want to be rich, and they'll tell you, yes, I play the lottery every week. And I'm like, cool, I can teach you how to be rich, how to wealth build, how to build a legacy. And they're like, oh, I can't afford that. I don't want any part of that. And they never think to ask. So really, wealth building is not for everybody. There are people that are completely okay with 9-to-5 jobs. And I'm happy for them. They're very happy with their, coffee can in the cupboard. They think they're balling if they are invested in a CD at 4% interest, right? Like they've made it in life. And so, I can come to them and be like, hey, when that CD expires, I'll pay you 8% or 10%. And instead of educating themselves and asking the questions like, how does that work? And how would you do that? And how do I benefit? And how am I protected? A confused mind says no. And they just shut down. Like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to roll that back over at 4%. Because they don't understand. And
And
so,
that makes me think about my friend from down the street. You know, one of the reasons why I wanted to do an episode on this is because I've got a friend down the street, fellow teacher. We actually taught at the same school. And we were discussing retirement accounts. He's like, yes, I want to make sure that I have at least 3 retirement accounts. I'm like, well, why don't you invest in real estate? And he was like, oh no, I don't want to do all that. I don't want the headache. And I'm like, well, what about if you do it in a self-directed retirement account? And he was like, what?
mm-hmm.
And so I was able to kind of educate him a little bit with my limited level of knowledge. And I was like, no, it's like you put it inside of it. So you still get all the retirement account and all the IRA benefits that you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
because he was saying that he liked the I want to say it was the pre-tax aspect of it.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And he said, you know, I really like that. I'm like, well, you still get that, but you use the money inside of it to purchase real estate, which is a very stable,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wealth vehicle. You know, is it recession proof? No. But I like to call it recession resistant, just because I feel like to say something is like 100% all the time amazing that's just not a rabbit hole I want to go down, and it's
Sure.
not the truth. And I don't want to mislead anyone.
Right.
So.
But it's also how you're leveraged. So a lot of people lost their shirts, of course, in 2008 because they were over leveraged. They weren't smart. Like, it was free money is never free. Okay. Somewhere down the road, we're going to pay for that money. And that's what happened. Everybody reaped that free money and it came back. But the people that knew better and were smart and they didn't take advantage of, you know, said free money, those are the people that bought up. There were more millionaires made in 2008 than probably any other time in history because they were smart. So if you're smart about it and you leverage yourself right, you are kind of in a way recession proof in a lot of ways. And people always have to have somewhere to live, which is why I love multifamily. You know, we never do A-class apartments. We do working class apartments. So when the economy crashes, guess where the A-class are moving? They're moving to us. You know, guess where the people that are going, you know, through foreclosure, they're coming to us. So, you know, I just love that. And being self-directed, you have that opportunity to invest in such things. And you don't even have to do real estate. So as long as you're doing something that is profitable, you could be a hard money lender. Like, how would you like to make, you know, 20% on that money when the stock market's doing 7 or 8? You know, you're crazy not to. But you can do art, you can do antiques, you can do jewelry, foreign currency, cryptocurrency. And so that's the other thing, that if you're going to be self-directed, you have to be self-educated. You have to know what it is you're investing in. Otherwise, you know, you run that risk of losing your hard-earned money because you are in control. And you don't have an advisor to blame. If you lose your money, that's on you.
Wow. I didn't realize that you could like diversify within it that way.
Absolutely. And I am all about diversification. So I'm not a big fan of the stock market, but I still believe in having a little bit in there. Don't have everything in there. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. Have a little bit in there. I know day traders that are making 50 grand a day. Like, that's my goal, is to learn to day trade. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be soon. You know, so they're diversified everywhere, but you have to be educated. If you're going to do the stock market, do it yourself. Don't leave it up to an advisor, you know, to put your money where, you know, even in stocks that you don't believe in, you know, there are a lot of out there that when we found out where our money was, we were pissed. And we pulled our money out. So if you're going to be in the stock market, do it yourself. Like, learn and know when to put it in and, you know, when to take it out.
Yeah. What I've always, when people are like, you don't do stocks, I'm like, no, but I have this little Robinhood account because it gives me a way to play so that I can kind of play with it. I used to do the CNBC like stock challenge every year with, I teach college econ, and we would do it. Some of us in the class would do it. And I would always invest in companies that had food. And then I would invest in Sara Lee, because Sara Lee is like an old 80s style conglomerate. They're everywhere, and you don't even realize they're everywhere. They're in clothing, they're in food, they're in, I mean, you name it, they're in it somehow. When I did my research paper over them in college, it was like they were the #1 like sports provider for a European country, like sports clothing. And I was like, what?
That's hilarious. Can you know, a
No,
bread company and sports.
It was pantyhose in Europe and it was sports in the US. That's what it
Okay.
was. And I was like, that's
Diversification right there. Okay. Bread, pantyhose, and sports equipment. Like, you got it covered.
yeah. But it was just it really solidified that idea in me that you got to be all over the place if you want to be successful. And I have plenty of friends that they are multifamily and only multifamily. And so my husband is like, we need to be multifamily and we're going multifamily. But then there's like this little piece of me where I'm like, I'm really comfortable with single family. I know single family. I understand single family. Better than that, it's like B-class single family. That's my sweet spot. And so then the portfolio that's come onto our plate is not B-class. It's very much in that working class, affordable housing, like class, that range. And so it's going to be a learning experience for us. But the thing I like about working in single families, I feel like it gives us some experience that we can extrapolate into multifamily.
Sure.
On like a smaller scale. And so we can be involved because we have a property manager. So we can be involved as much or as little as we want to be and learn along the way, and it not be at the expense of other investors or an entire complex full of families.
Sure.
So I feel like it's a little safer, but because the other thing I think is a lot of times when people start investing in real estate or in apartments or, you know, mobile home communities, I don't think they take that step back to be like, I'm taking care of all these families now. You know, all of these families, all of these residents are now something I'm responsible for.
Right. Yeah.
So it kind of changes it. Once you realize that, it changes how you think about it. And you're like,
Absolutely. And we never take that lightly. Like, not only our residents, but our investors. Like, their money is my money. And I guard their money, you know, like I would my own. You know, ask your financial advisor if they would sell their house. If the stock market crashed and you lost everything, ask them if they would sell their house to make you whole. You know, ask them if they would not take any profit ever again until you're made whole. You know, they're going to laugh in your face. I would absolutely sell my house if it came to not my investors being paid. And I don't think there's very many. There's some, because we hang out with them, but there's not a lot of real estate investors that are going to say that. You know, they're going to be like, yeah, sorry about your luck, and move on. We know of one that would laugh about it. And so, you know, we just separate ourselves from those people, and we really try hard to make sure that we're differentiated from those people, because these are not only just, you know, these are kids and stuff, and they're watching their parents, you know, and they're watching where they live. And so if you want to get started in multifamily, you know, definitely don't. I would never start, or, you know, on my own. I would absolutely partner with somebody that knows. You know, Corey Peterson is amazing. Adam Adams, Kathy Fettke, Maureen Miles, you know, partner with one of them and bring the money, and you still get part of the acquisition fee. You get part of the back end, but you're not in charge, but you're learning to be, you know, and you get to watch, you know, and be a part of that every single step of the way without, you know, putting yourself or your investors at risk.
wow, that's really good advice.
Yeah, so we kind of got off the track there a little bit on self-directed, but it all kind of applies, you know, and it all kind of just circles its way around. And so have a good tax attorney, you know, if you, to look over these things too. My company, my Tax-Free Future company, we are the only self-directed IRA company in the entire nation that offers a tax attorney on your A team as part of our services. And so, you know, utilize him, and, you know, just make sure that before you invest in anything that you're, you know, kind of getting that, the okay, you know, that it's structured correctly, that your JV is structured correctly, that your taxes are structured correctly, so that you're not paying taxes, or if you have to, you're paying very minimal taxes. We do love the Roth plans. Taxes today will always be cheaper than taxes tomorrow. So, pay up front now for money being put in and not have to worry about it, taking it out later.
Yeah. So if someone is, if someone has has a retirement account and it's not self-directed and they're wanting to move it self-directed, how does that process work?
So for my company, it's just a matter of, doing the paperwork. A lot of the companies will charge transaction fees. So there are companies out there that if you blink, you're getting charged. If you deposit money, you're charged. If you take money out, you're charged. If you ask for an account balance, you're charged. If you ask them to fax something, you're charged. We don't do any of those charges. We're just a one-time administration fee up front. And then it's $175 a year, which basically pays for Tim's time. So use him. So it's just a matter of, this is what I want to do. And then, you sign up for your membership, you get your tax attorney, and he takes it from there. We also make sure that you're using a bank that's investor friendly. We don't want you to use a bank that's going to charge you again every time you blink. So we have a list of banks that we highly recommend that are investor friendly and don't charge any extra fees. So we just kind of babysit them along the way. And then if they're like, well, I did this, now what? Where do I go with my money? Well, we can help you with that too. There's lots of vehicles. And it's really like, what do you most want to play in? If you want multifamily, I'm happy to help you. If you want storage units or owner finance, Mitch Stephen is your guy. If you want a hard money lend, I'll borrow your money all day long. So it's just like, what do you want to do with it? If they want to do antiques or foreign currency, I'm out. So I don't know anything about it. You have to be educated, self-educated. You don't have to have any kind of degree or anything. You can be, have a 5th grade education, but you do have to be self-educated in where you're putting your money. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for loss and failure. But again, Tim Barry, he has a plethora of people that, who does antiques? Here, let me introduce you to this guy. Who does foreign currency? Let me introduce you to this guy. And so, if you can partner with them and learn from them, have a good mentor, and it's priceless to do that too. And you can pay for your education out of your 401k IRA. So if you wanted to get into real estate and you didn't know how, pick a class and pay for it out of your IRA or 401k.
Wow, that's cool. We have a question. She wanted to know, what is your company?
It's taxfreefuture.com.
I can type
taxfreefuture.com.
And I'm typing it in too, so that it'll be easy to get to.
And then if you're looking for syndication or investments, I also have Vorsa. My personal is Vorsa with a V. Vorsa Investments.
Is that also .com?
Yeah. We have a website, but Vorsa Investments.
VORSA?
VORSA. Yeah, perfect.
I spelled it right.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, like, I also teach at a private institution, and I think it's the same way if it's public, but we don't have a 401, we have a 403. Can that be self-directed, or do you have to switch it over?
You do have to switch it over. Okay. So TSP accounts, I think those are government accounts. I think they are. There's a TSP account. I think it's government, but there is one. It does exist. You just roll it over to self-directed, and it's fine. And then right now is a great time. Right now is really the perfect time because, COVID has been awful. But there are some benefits to it, and the CARES Act is definitely one of them because you can now roll over your accounts without penalty. So before, when there was a 10% penalty on your accounts, that's gone. And so this is a great time.
Really sizable.
I'm sorry?
That could be really sizable.
Oh, absolutely. When you're talking about, 10%, if you only have $10,000, 10% that's a hit. And now you don't have that. However, if it wasn't a Roth before, if it was a traditional, that's the other thing. Before CARES, if you had a traditional account, you had to self-direct it to a traditional account. You couldn't like mix them. Now, if you have a traditional account, you can roll that over to a Roth. So again, I don't know exactly when that's supposed to expire. It's not going to last forever. So if you're thinking about doing self-directed at all, do it now.
Well, but if people are utilizing it, they might fight to keep it around. But you never know. But
You don't know. You don't know. And I wouldn't be willing to gamble that.
oh, I know, right?
Right?
So
So
she says TSP is definitely a government account. I have one.
yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
Like
See, thank you. See, I know some stuff. I know a little bit.
Yeah, so my teaching, I still have my TRS account, because like my private tertiary I teach for, I can't pay into my TRS, but I also teach for a local college here as well that's a state supported, and it will pay into my TRS. So I don't necessarily want to roll over from my TRS, because if I'm going to keep doing a few courses here and there for the other one that's state funded, I'd rather than pay into my TRS than me have to buy into another program on the side.
Right.
So
yeah, so keep in mind that if you have an account that an employer is directly depositing to, you can't roll those over. You're kind of stuck because it's actually their administrator that's holding that account. But if you have an old account, you change jobs and there's just that money just sitting there, holy cow, put that thing to work. Because it's not making you any money. It just kills me, the people that are like, yeah, it's just sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, lend it to me and I'll pay you 20% on it. No, it's fine just sitting there. And I'm just like, really? Like, kills me. But, again, wealth building is not for everybody. There's fear there and it's scary. And, we're, as a society, pretty lazy. And it might require asking a couple questions to educate yourself. And we don't do that.
Well, and I think trust is low on the whole. Because I know, like, when we first started investing, it was scary. The first time, like, we invested in a syndication, it was like you wired the money and we were like, well, what if it goes to the wrong place? And what if they don't get it? And I mean, like, even now, I mean, we've done it, as we've done it 5 times now. But every single time it's scary. It's like, oh.
Life is scary. Driving to Walmart is scary, and it's just like, do you choose to live in fear or do you choose to, put yourself out there? We've made bad investments. We've lost a lot of money, but we learned and we won't do it again, and, we've had bad partnerships. We've had deals absolutely robbed from us. Guess what? We won't work with those people again, and so it's out there. And again, be self-educated, right? Know who you're working with. Ask questions. For the people, probably nobody knows me in this live, but I'm happy to meet with you. I'm actually SEC regulated on my multifamily side. I'm required to meet with you. Ask me questions. I'm an open book. I'm fully transparent. Ask me whatever you need to know to build that trust. And on my single family side, multifamily is a long play. It's a lot of money, but it is a long play, and it's scarier. Invest with us like in the small. Invest $1,000. You can't. If we went and lose $1,000, we obviously have that. But start small. Dip your toe in the water, get to know us, and then build, and then build, and then build, and then see that we don't wow you, and see that you don't like us because we're freaking lovable, and then you want to do more. So, just be educated, just educate yourself, know who's, reliable and who's not.